Most people think they have a time problem. They say there aren't enough hours in the day, that their schedule is packed, that life is just too busy right now. But if that were true, then adding more structure, more planners, more apps, and more discipline would have solved it by now. The truth is uncomfortable, but it's simple. The real reason productivity keeps breaking down isn't time, it's energy. And if you don't understand how energy actually works, no amount of motivation or time management will ever save you. Think about this for a moment. You've probably had at least one day in your life where everything just clicked. You woke up feeling rested. Your mind felt sharp. You sat down to work, and suddenly 2 hours passed, and you had accomplished more than you normally do in an entire day. Nothing magical happened to your calendar on that day. You didn't suddenly gain new skills. What changed was your energy. That single experience proves something most productivity advice ignores. Productivity is not controlled by the clock. It's controlled by how much usable energy you bring into the hours you already have. Traditional productivity advice is built on a false assumption. It assumes that every hour of your day is equal. It assumes that if you just organize your tasks correctly, wake up earlier, push harder, and stay disciplined, your output will increase. But human beings don't function like machines. Your brain does not operate at the same level of focus, creativity, and decision-making power from morning to night. Some hours, you are sharp and clear. Other hours, your thinking is slow, your patience is thin, and even simple decisions feel heavy. Ignoring this reality is why so many people feel busy, but unproductive, exhausted, but unsatisfied. Energy is the real currency of productivity. Time only tells you how long something takes. Energy determines whether you do it well, poorly, or not at all. When your energy is high, difficult tasks feel manageable and creative work flows naturally. When your energy is low, even small tasks feel overwhelming and you start procrastinating, not because you're lazy, but because your brain is trying to conserve what little energy it has left. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to force productivity during low energy periods. They schedule important work simply because the time is available, not because their mind is ready. This creates frustration and self-blame. You sit there thinking something is wrong with you because you can't focus, when in reality, you're asking your brain to perform at a level it's biologically incapable of at that moment. Your body runs on natural cycles of energy throughout the day. These cycles repeat multiple times, and during each one, your ability to focus rises and falls. This means that productivity is not about staying on all day. It's about knowing when you are on and using those moments intentionally. When you work against these cycles, you burn energy faster and recover slower. Over time, this leads to chronic fatigue, mental fog, and burnout, even if you're technically getting things done. Another critical misunderstanding is thinking that energy is only physical. Energy is mental, emotional, and psychological. Poor sleep doesn't just make you tired. It reduces your ability to think clearly. Emotional stress doesn't just affect your mood. It drains cognitive resources. Decision overload doesn't just slow you down. It lowers the quality of every choice you make afterward. Productivity collapses not because you're incapable, but because your internal systems are overloaded. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is moving from time-based planning to energy-based planning. This doesn't mean abandoning structure. It means using structure intelligently. Instead of asking, what should I do at 10 a.m., you ask, what kind of energy do I usually have around this time, and what kind of work matches it? High energy periods are ideal for creative thinking, problem solving, strategy, and anything that requires deep focus. Medium energy periods work best for routine tasks, communication, and maintenance work. Low energy periods should be reserved for rest, recovery, movement, or activities that recharge you rather than drain you further. When people ignore this and push through low energy states, something interesting happens. Their decision-making quality drops. Studies have shown that when mental energy is depleted, people become more rigid, more reactive, and more likely to choose the easiest option rather than the best one. This is why fatigue leads to poor judgment, impulsive behavior, and mistakes that don't reflect your true ability. You don't become less capable when you're tired. You become less resourced. Rest is not a reward for productivity. Rest is a requirement for it. Yet many people treat rest like laziness, something they'll allow themselves only after everything is done. The problem is that everything is never done. When rest is delayed too long, energy debt builds up and productivity quietly collapses underneath it. Real recovery doesn't just happen when you stop working. It happens when your nervous system actually disengages from effort, pressure, and constant stimulation. Sleep is the foundation of all usable energy. It's not optional, and it's not negotiable. Poor sleep affects attention, memory, emotional regulation, and creativity. Even small reductions in sleep over time can produce cognitive effects similar to extreme sleep deprivation. No amount of caffeine, motivation, or discipline can fully compensate for this. Sleep is not time lost. It's performance gained. Movement is another overlooked reset mechanism. The brain is designed to work in coordination with the body. Long periods of sitting reduce circulation, dull focus, and accelerate mental fatigue. Even brief movement can restore alertness and clarity by increasing oxygen flow and stimulating neurotransmitters associated with focus and mood. Productivity doesn't require staying glued to your chair. Often, stepping away briefly makes the next work session far more effective. Food also plays a role in energy regulation, not just in physical stamina, but in mental sharpness. Digestion requires energy. Heavy meals during the middle of the day can cause significant drops in alertness, especially during natural energy dips. Everyone responds differently, which is why awareness matters more than rules. The goal is not to copy someone else's routine, but to observe how your own body responds and adjust accordingly. One of the most damaging cultural beliefs is that working longer automatically means accomplishing more. In reality, extended hours often produce diminishing returns. As energy drops, tasks take longer, errors increase, and creative thinking shuts down. People then compensate by working even more hours, which deepens exhaustion and reinforces the belief that they are behind. This cycle is how burnout develops quietly over time. True productivity is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most with the highest quality energy you have. That means protecting your peak periods, respecting your limits, and designing your day around how you actually function rather than how you think you should function. It means understanding that discipline without energy becomes punishment, not progress. When you start managing energy instead of time, something shifts internally. You stop fighting yourself. You stop labeling normal biological rhythms as personal flaws. Work becomes more intentional, less reactive. You begin to trust your capacity again, not because you're pushing harder, but because you're working smarter in alignment with how your mind and body naturally operate. Productivity is not about constant motion. It's about alignment. Alignment between effort and recovery, focus and rest, challenge and capacity. When that alignment exists, progress feels lighter, clearer, and more sustainable. When it doesn't, no system in the world will save you. If there's one idea to carry forward, it's this. Your goal is not to squeeze every minute of the day for output. Your goal is to show up with full energy when it matters most. When you respect your energy, your work improves, your creativity expands, and your life feels less like a constant uphill climb. Productivity stops being something you chase and starts becoming something that naturally emerges from a well-managed inner state. That's the difference between managing time and mastering energy. And once you understand that difference, everything changes.